Okay, I just wanted to show the next step in the Takakura composting from the last video. It's been a week today since we made the bioferments here. So they're all ready. Just a little while ago I sifted out the organic matter from both of them. This is the sweet. I want to get down and show it. This is the sweet ferment, which was all the fruit peels with molasses that we mixed up and added water till it was all submerged. So it's been fermenting for a week. I just sifted everything out of it and it's ready. This here is the salty ferment that was just the vegetable scraps with 8 ounces of sea salt that we mixed together, and all the microorganisms that were already on the surface of the vegetables and the fruits have greatly blown up and expanded, and there's billions of them in here now. So now we're going to take a half and half mix of the sweet ferment and the salty ferment, and then we're going to add it to our Takakura substrate here. And this is just sat for a week, and as you can probably see if you get down and show this, there's a lot of growth in here, microorganisms and fungi and mold, which is actually good because it's a lot of microbial activity going on in here. It's already like a solid chunk. So we're going to break this up, and then we're going to put our half and half sweet and salty ferment mix in here, and then let it sit for like 5 days, and then the mycelium and the microorganisms will just blow up in here, and then it'll be ready for us to add our organic matter and start the Takakura composting. So it's a pretty rapid composting system. The microorganisms and the mycelium work to break down the organic matter really quickly, and you know, we'll just keep adding about 1 kilo of organic vegetable and fruit scraps to this mix until it fills the box up. And then when it does that, we're going to split it in half and create a new box, and just keep expanding that process. And then when we have a box fill up, we can take half of it and put it on the garden, put it on our plants, and then the microorganisms will expand into the soil and create all kinds of goodness for our plants. So it's a great system to introduce more microorganisms to your garden space and increase the microbial activity and mycelium as well, which is a great boon to your garden. So I'm just going to mix this up really good, and then I'm going to add the liquid little by little until we get the right humidity mixture that we want. So let's break up these last few chunks here. Okay, so now I'm going to take half and half of this sweet ferment. It's probably too much for mix, but the salty, so it's about half and half there. And it really, I thought it would smell a lot worse than it does. It doesn't. It's got it's not really unpleasant smell. It's not bad at all. It doesn't stink. So mix that up. I'm going to slowly add a little by little until we get what we want here. Let's try that. See what we got. It's definitely not enough. Let's mix that up a little bit. That might be good. Let's try that. Definitely don't want it too wet, but you don't want it too dry either. So we're gonna mix all this up really good. So in the other video we showed what the substrate material is here. It's wheat, the residual powder from the wheat processing, rice husk, and humus from the soil, or from the jungle, which is the top layer of the soil that has a lot of microbial microbes in it, and fungi, and a lot of stuff in it that we want. So this is just recreating the natural environment of the forest soil in a box that we can. And this is a great way to compost inside of an apartment in a city, you know, in-house, inside, because it doesn't stink. It's contained. You know, it's not a high volume composting system, but for, you know, a small family or a single person that you can, you know, add a kilo or a little more of organic matter every day, and you can have multiple boxes or a bigger box and add more. Very versatile composting system.
Add the fact that once you have like your mother system made, you can now break it off into
yeah, we can keep expanding this as, and also going to show you over in our compost bays over there, our bins. So we're going to test this right now. Going to take a chunk and kind of pack it in our hands, and if it holds together, see, it's still too dry. So I think we're looking for about a 40% humidity factor is what Jose said. So gonna keep mixing it until we get the humidity in here that we want. So after we mix this, we're gonna let it sit, wrap this up and let it sit for 5 days without touching it. Come back and it should have a nice white layer on top of mycelium growth, and then we can start adding our organic matter to it. Okay, that should definitely be enough now, I think. Maybe a little too much, or hopefully not. So it's a pretty interesting system. Jose and his brother Felipe showed us this at my permaculture design course back in January, and was really fascinated by it. We did an example at the beginning of the course, and let the ferment sit, and the Takakura, and then, like, you know, we after the Takakura was ready, and we added some vegetable scraps and let it sit for less than 24 hours, and we came back and it was amazing what had transpired. The microorganisms in mycelium had literally turned these vegetable scraps unrecognizable in a day, and there was like a solid mass of white mycelium growth in and around the scraps we put in there, and they were just like rapidly breaking it down. It was pretty amazing. So I was definitely interested in getting, you know, starting this myself, and it took a while, but Jose came out to the farm, and you know, now we're gonna be doing this on the farm regularly. So now it's ready. You don't want, you know, you want to take a handful, squeeze it in your hand. There's a little bit of water oozing out, but not much. I think we're at a good mixture. It's you know, it's not holding together real well, but
I think that's because of the matter.
That's because of that rice hull.
Yeah.
So I think we're at a good humidity point here. So I'm gonna mix it a little more, and we're gonna wrap this up and leave it. And then we'll make another little short video when we open this up in 5 days, and show you what it looks like and when it's ready to go, and ready to add organic matter to it. So okay, this is pretty mixed up well. We're gonna walk over. I'm gonna make another mix, and we're gonna pour it on the stuff. We last week we took some of the rice hulls and the wheat substrate, and just threw it on top of some compost over here in our bay. And I'm gonna take and add the it's not gonna be a perfect Takakura system, but it'll help get the microorganisms going in the compost over here. So I'm gonna mix this up, and we're gonna take this and just pour it on top. And I'm gonna probably take the rest of that and just pour it on top of our compost that's breaking down. So here, on top of some organic matter, we just tossed some rice hulls and some of that wheat stuff. So I'm just going to pour the bioferment on it. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the rest of that and I'm going to pour it on our other 2 compost piles here. This one here we've already turned twice. It's breaking down nicely, heating up. It was twice the size of this when we first started it, and now turning it back and forth once a week. It's really breaking down. I'd say another month and a half we'll have a good amount of usable compost from this. But stay tuned. We'll get back to you in 5 days with the last segment of the Takakura composting. Thanks.